All right, people, time for another weird one in the How Much to Keep series. And honestly, I don't know if this guy necessarily constitutes its own video, but I am going to do a separate video for this guy because at the end of the day, he played the whole season for us, right? This is a little bit of a name player. People know this guy. This guy has done significant things in the NFL. So I think we need to take a few minutes here to talk about him specifically. But this one's tough, I gotta admit. And quite honestly, I think I know what's going to end up happening to this guy, and it's not going to be a whole lot interesting here. But we got to talk about Austin Blythe. Starting center for basically the whole season. He comes in here, takes over a position that had been a problem for us for a while, takes over Ethan Posic's spot. I'm excited. A lot of people are excited. It seems like it's going to work. It seems like a good idea. His body's fresh because he didn't play the previous year at all in Kansas City, really, because of Creed Humphrey. And, can you honestly say he was better than Ethan Posick? I don't think you can. Can you honestly say that he was even better than Justin Britt at the end? I don't see it. I guess the one thing I can say about Austin Blythe is he seems like a relatively intelligent center. He helps with some of the checks at the line, but his ability to actually play the position in terms of blocking people, it just wasn't very good. But he did give you over 1,000 snaps, and I'm not going to pretend like that's worthless. Now, if we had any kind of competency at the backup center position, I'm sure that wouldn't have happened. We had Kyle Fuller. So Blythe kind of had to play the whole season. But what he gave you was something fairly bad. It was a 51 PFF grade. Pass blocking was pretty decent, but run blocking was terrible. Honestly, I think 48 is generous. I actually watched him play this year. It was bad. So Austin Blythe played the season, did not play very well. So let's understand where we're starting from here. Austin Blythe, last offseason, signed a one-year, $4 million deal. This was coming off a season where he basically did not play. He was a backup in Kansas City. Now, some people are going to say, oh, well, if Blythe got $4 million after a year where he didn't play, of course he's going to want more than $4 million after a year where he played. I'm not so convinced. Austin Blythe played, but he played bad. Played bad. When we paid Blythe, we weren't paying him off 2021 when he didn't play. We were paying him off of 2020 when he played the whole season and actually played pretty good. Really good run blocker, by the way. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you lose your ability to run block in 2 seasons, but there you go. And because of that, I feel like this offer, whatever we offer him this offseason, will be less than this. So I'm establishing the ceiling at 1 year, $4 million, and I think it's got to be below that. Let's take a look at some center stuff that happened last offseason. Center's a weird position in free agency. Sometimes things just happen that don't make a whole lot of sense to me. And Blythe is not going to make this easy because unlike most of the players we're going to take a look at in this list here, he actually played the whole year. A lot of these guys down here below where Blythe was or coming off years where they didn't play a ton. Like, look at John Feliciano. He went from Buffalo to New York, 1 year, 3.25. He only played less than half the year. Now, he played probably a little bit better overall than Blythe did. 57 overall PFF grade, no sacks allowed, 3 penalties. That's actually pretty good. But it's kind of hard to compare a guy who played less than half the year versus a guy who played basically the whole year. Now, I think the quality of play you are getting from a John Feliciano is probably worth a little bit more than Blythe playing more but playing worse, especially when you're trying to project future production. So, no, I don't think that Blythe should be getting more than what Feliciano got last offseason. And then you have a guy who completely throws me for a loop, like Bradley Bozeman. He gets 1 year, $2.8 million from Carolina. He's 27 years old when he signs the deal. You go look at his 2021, he played the whole season. He had 1 penalty, 3 sacks allowed. PFF grade was good across the board. Like, what happened here? Can somebody explain this to me? I feel like I just fell into, like, this weird, like, glitch in the system for NFL free agency where a guy plays really well, is relatively young, plays the whole season, doesn't get hurt, and then doesn't get any money. If somebody out there knows why Bradley Bozeman doesn't get paid, please explain it to me, because he's kind of messing up this whole thing. Now, everyone else on this list got paid Vet Min Plus or Vet Min or Min or whatever. Like, all these guys below Bradley Bozeman got less than 1.3 million, basically the minimum. You've got Greg Mansk. Who's Greg Mansk? I don't know. He went from Miami to Buffalo, and in 2021 he played less than 200 snaps. His grades were okay when he did play, like roughly maybe like a slight positive to his team, but not a particularly big one. Hard to really evaluate against a guy like Blythe, who played worse, but also played a lot more. Oh, my bad. You've got Ethan Posick, our old buddy, who got a veteran minimum deal basically in Cleveland. And what did he do the previous year? He played 600 snaps. He played better than... Honestly, I think he played a lot better than Blythe overall. Obviously, there was a big upgrade in the pass blocking because Posick really struggled there. But overall, hard for me to say that Blythe was better. The only area where you can say Blythe is better is probably his stability. He stays healthy a little bit better than Posick, I guess. I mean, what else do we got here? Scott Kessenberry goes from the Chargers to the Texans for veteran minimum money. What is Scott Kessenberry? The year before that, he was a backup. He played over 100 snaps. Grades were okay. No sacks allowed in 115 snaps. One penalty. Like, okay, he's probably a little bit better than Blythe, but he also hasn't played nearly as much. Kyle Fuller, our old buddy, re-signed by the Seahawks. Veteran minimum deal, essentially. Played about half the season. Probably worse than Blythe. Okay. We found somebody worse than Blythe, people. Sound the alarm. Mark the time and date in your calendar. We found somebody who's worse than Blythe. So, okay. Blythe is going to get more than a guy like a Kyle Fuller. But honestly, why is he getting more than a guy like an Ethan Posick who got basically the same amount? This is what I mean when I say the center position is weird. I'm trying to put all these numbers together, and it's just really hard to. So, plugging it all into the system here, I can't find a really great comp for Blythe. Because all these guys I'm finding who signed last offseason didn't play as much as him, but also played probably a little bit better. Except for Bozeman. But Bozeman, that's just like a freak occurrence that I can't really derive any meaningful data from. So, based on all this stuff, though, Austin Blythe, I'm going to say 1 year, $2 million would be what he can expect. 1 year, $2 million. That accounts for the fact that he didn't play good, but it also gives him some credit for the fact that he played a lot. I do think that probably puts him above a guy like a Kyle Fuller. It puts him above a guy like a Kessenberry and a Mansk, guys who are just pure backups. But there's only so much I can say about a guy who is a net negative to his team, and I believe that Blythe is. Would I offer him 1 year, $2 million? No. No, I wouldn't. I don't think he's worth that. I would let him walk, or I would offer him the veteran minimum, which is going to be like 1.2 million this year. Veteran minimum, take it, be the backup, or go somewhere else. I just don't see how he's worth more than that. I don't see how he's worth more than the veteran minimum to me. To somebody else out there, he will probably be worth 1 year, $2 million. That's my guess. He is a veteran. He's a little bit of a name player. He has a reputation. He's had better years before. He was good in Kansas City. He was good in LA. But I can't go to war with another year of Austin Blythe. I just can't. He's not good enough. I didn't see it from him in 2022. He let me down big time. I'm offering him the veteran minimum to be a backup. I don't think he'll take it. I think someone out there is going to give him a little bit more, but I'm not willing to give him a little bit more, so that's my take. Let me know what you make of all this, by the way. The free agency market for centers gets weird sometimes. How does Posick get the veteran minimum coming off the year he had last year? I don't know. He got paid what Scott Kessenberry played to basically not play. See you guys later. Go Hawks.